Obviously, we've had a busy weekend in Indian River County, beginning Friday night in the early morning hours, actually Saturday morning, where we believe on the eastern side of the Gifford community, two males, we believe to be brothers or stepbrothers, involved in an altercation earlier in the day, which ultimately turned out into a homicide as a result of a gunshot. We believe that the person of interest has narrowed down to a particular person that we certainly have our eyes on. In fact, one of the stepbrothers, that was the only other person at the scene, has been arrested for possession of cocaine, and we're awaiting additional charges as that particular case progresses. And then moving to Saturday evening, we had a disturbance at a popular nightclub in the Gifford community by the name of Shake Your Booty nightclub, where we do believe that there was a verbal altercation that resulted later in the evening with shots being fired as two gentlemen stood on the corner in the 3400 block of 45th Street. And as you know, in the 3400 block of 45th Street is directly adjacent to probably the most violent scene that occurred last night at around 8:20 p.m. outside of a local convenience store by the name of Smith's Grocery. We had a crowd of some estimated up to 500. I have gotten some firsthand knowledge that there were several hundred folks there. They were congregating in type of a mob mentality, if you will, after a party at the Gifford Community Center, or I should say a car show, and then the large group simply migrated over to the Smith Community grocery store. The Smith grocery store, as you know, is on 45th Street. I think you've all probably seen photos of that. And that is an establishment that we will be policing extremely hard in the next few days, weeks, and years, as we have in the past. At that particular incident, we had what we believe two suspects from the Fort Pierce area come up and visit Smith's Grocery and had a beef to settle with two male brothers from the Gifford community. It appears that some type of fist fight was ensuing, and within the fist fight evolved a gunfight. We do know that there were several different caliber rounds that were fired. We do know that we have outstanding physical evidence. We also have some other evidence that we're very, very confident are going to lead us to the suspects of this particular case. In this case, there were 5 injuries, to include that of a 1-year-old child that in fact had a shrapnel wound, if you will, that was treated and released at the scene, as well as one more severe injury that suspect or that victim is actually at the St. Mary's Hospital in West Palm Beach. So we have hard evidence on all of these cases. There will be arrests coming. Our plea today is for our victims and our witnesses to cooperate with law enforcement. That is how we're going to make this community continue to be a success, but we've got to have witnesses step forward and talk about what's going on in the community. We talk and spend a lot of time in the Gifford community policing the neighborhoods and the areas, and we ask that we be reciprocated with the help that we've provided that particular community. You know, when you have a mob mentality and you have a group of folks in the hundreds, things like this unfortunately are going to happen. Outside of that particular establishment, we have sales of alcohol that we feel need to be policed a bit more strongly, which we will. That is our commitment, as well as just congregating and distracting others on 45th Street. This cannot go on. We've got to continue to work hard with the community and, again, get our witnesses to come forward. We've partnered with many community organizations throughout the Treasure Coast, and particularly Indian River County. We've partnered with the NAACP of Indian River County, as well as the Indian River County Pastoral Association. We meet regularly with those folks, and we have a wonderful relationship with them. All of us are on the same page, and we know that our mission is here to keep Indian River County safe. And I'll answer any of your questions.
The shooting from the 32 guys possibly from Fort Pierce that came up, do we think that this may be connected to the first incident that happened Friday with the two brothers or the two stepbrothers?
No, we don't.
Do we think any of these incidents may be related?
Perhaps. The ones from the Shake Your Booty nightclub to the one on the corner of 34th and 45th, which was the night before.
Okay.
Now, why do you think they were connected?
because of the disturbance that occurred at the nightclub, and then following up with the actions for the following evening.
And have you guys tried talking to witnesses? And
We have. Our detectives worked all night long, talking to victims, talking to witnesses, talking to suspects even. We did have something very refreshing where a mother actually brought a potential suspect / victim to our headquarters to talk, and that's the first sign of an open dialogue. So we know that we're going to solve these cases. The evidence is overwhelming. Our crime scene technicians and our crime scene team is an outstanding unit, and they continue to work hard every day. That's what enables us to solve crimes.
Sheriff, was anyone called when that group of 500 showed up at the store? Were you called for the shootings?
We were, as I mentioned earlier, we have a unique situation in the Gifford community when we have large events like the car show that was last night. After that particular event is over, there are tendencies for the group or the party to migrate to local establishments. Last night that party migrated to Smith's grocery store, where there were hundreds of people standing around, some partying, some celebrating. But inevitably, when you have the mixture of some type of relationship involving a young lady versus young men, alcohol and or drugs involved, that is the recipe for not a good night. And our men were on scene within 1 minute. In fact, we're in the area. Our deputies were, and were able to defuse that in a relatively short amount of time.
Sheriff, can you kind of go through what happened with people standing out and a car came by shooting, or was somebody really? Can you kind of give us a snapshot without getting too far into it?
Right. We feel that's a relationship of that was in relations to the episode the night before at the Shake Your Booty Lounge, where apparently there was another disturbance there involving young men and young ladies. And that's one thing that I've asked the community to help us on. You know, we've got to protect our children, our grandchildren, our parents, our grandparents for that matter. At some point we've got to take responsibility for having our kids and our grandkids out at all hours of the night congregating and getting into situations like that. We afford to put ourselves in particular positions, and at some point bad things are going to happen. And that's one thing that our main message is today for our victims and our witnesses to come forward with us and also look after our community as a whole, because we are not in a position to have continued episodes of violence like this in Indian River County. We've invited our president of Indian River County NAACP, if he'd like to say a few words. He is here today, as well as our Pastoral Association president, if they'd like to say a few words.
We just like to say that we support.
Come up here to the mic.
Can you get up to the microphone, please?
And he's tired of the violence as well.
And say your name.
My name is Tony Brown, president of Indian River County NAACP. We are wholeheartedly supporting Sheriff Loar in this effort. We're tired of the things that are going on in our community, and we're asking that somebody step forward and give them the information that's needed. If you're concerned about being a snitch, tell me and I'll be the snitch for you. We have to protect our community. We have to have the sheriff help us protect our children.
Thank you. Reverend Bryant is in charge of Indian River County Pastoral Association. He's also a partner with Indian River County Sheriff's Office.
Yes, as he said, my name is Rhyant, president of the Pastoral Association, Indian River County. And our grave concern right now is not to have what you call a knee-jerk reaction to what has happened. We definitely would like to know the facts. And we would like for the people to get involved. A problem that we've had is that people only want to get involved when something happens. I feel that if the community would definitely have gotten together with us, as the sheriff has tried with the COPE organization, and desired to work out some of these potentials, that it would have helped to prevent what happened, especially last night. But our government is no better than the people that get involved. And we need our community to get involved and stop looking for excuses when things happen and realize we all have a cause in what is going on and try to find a sober solution. Not just react emotionally, but try to do something the whole year and we can get the job done.
What's your name again? Sorry.
Benny Rhyant, Reverend Benny Rhyant,
Spell it for me.
R-H-Y-A-N-T.
Thank you, Reverend. Any more questions?
Sheriff, are these teenagers or who are these?
Yeah, they're young men. I think they're still in the maturation process, to be quite frank with you, from the pictures that I've seen of them. And I think, again, the combination that we have with young men involved with young ladies, and sometimes the friction that occurs there, as well as the mixture of alcohol and drugs. Yes, ma'am.
Just so I'm clear, Friday, I'm just going through the incidents just to make sure I have them clear. The first one, which happened between Friday, Saturday.
Yes, ma'am.
Was in the Gifford community, two stepbrothers. There was a shooting incident, one person died.
Correct.
Second incident is at Shake Your Booty, and this happened on Saturday night.
Correct.
Saturday night, there was, and this is at the 3400 block of 45th Street.
No, that's not the exact location of Shake Your Booty, but I'll get
Okay.
that for you.
But there was a
It's,
shooting there as well?
Yes, it was, later in the evening.
No injuries?
Yes, there were injuries in that one as well.
Okay.
But those are not life-threatening injuries.
Okay, can we say one or two or
One.
several?
One.
Okay.
That
And then-
person was transported to Longwood.
Okay, and then the incident from last night where there were
Correct.
5 injuries?
Correct.
Okay.
We also did have a few calls for service of shots fired, and we do have those calls for service throughout the Gifford community from time to time, and sometimes those are unfounded. But again, the physical evidence that we have in this case is overwhelming, in the last case.
Why is that grocery store such a hot spot?
You know, it's uniquely located on 45th Street. There is adequate parking, if you will, more so than some of the others. It's kind of a mainstay in the community, and you know, it's about time that we take charge of that.
Sheriff, did somebody drive by shooting, or did they get out of the car shooting, or?
On this one, we believe this was, well, we don't believe, we know this was on foot, kind of a running shooting situation.
But the one at Shake Your Booty, that was a drive-by?
Yes.
Okay.
What would you say to the shooter or shooters involved?
Well, it's pretty simple. We've got clear and concise evidence that they will be arrested. They can make it easier on us, or they can make it hard on themselves, but we do have the resources and we do have the folks that are going to allow us to apprehend them.
So what should they do, Sheriff?
What's that?
So what should they do?
They should turn themselves in.
Here?
Absolutely.
Chef, was the grocery store open at the time?
It was. Ironically, the grocery store was open. After the shooting occurred, they locked the doors, and within 5 minutes, they were back open for business.